Hello friends, it's Raj Satri from Raj Option Trading. Today is September 6, 2021. I want to cover small cap stocks, a quick weekly update. We will look at stock news, trading ideas for next week, most active, best and worst performing stocks, spot few good stocks to buy, and understand the timing when to buy and sell stocks and also options. So with that, here are the monthly winners here. Starting from the top here, we got support.com here, $21 stock, and it's done great, 253% in 1 month. Right now RSI 61, and institutions are also buying the stock. It tells you can moderately buy at this time. I would like RSI to be around 55 or below 55, but support.com has gone up and came down. I think it's okay to buy a little bit at this level, RSI being 61. And then you got here focus here, $13 stock has done great here, 179% here, and institutions are buying focus. I would not chase at this level. I would let the stock come down a little bit. Then we got here BYSI, again 59 RSI, and it's done great from a performance perspective. Pay close attention to institutions buying here. Many of these stocks have got institutions buying, which is always a good sign. But I would not chase the stocks. For example, when the RSI is high, for example, Trillium here, RSI is 85. I will not chase the stock at these levels. I would like RSI to come down to maybe 55 or so, or even below. And with that, you got Winco here. Winco, or be big after going up a lot. I think right now, as you can see here, shorts have exited the position. They covered it already. That's why I think short squeeze plays over here. But if you want to buy slowly as stock dropped a little more, that could be a good play here. Then you got Bitcoin stocks here, BTCM, HUT. All of these are at a high RSI levels here. I think it's good for these stocks to cool down a little bit before you buy BTCM and HUT. And then you got here Pixelworks, MMAT, and GSM. I think some of these, for example, Pixelworks has come down a little bit. It may be okay to buy slowly, given institutions are also buying. And then you got your monthly losers here. As you can see here, a lot of red here, 43% loss, 42% loss, so on and so forth. But as you look through this list here, look at the institution buying. For example, REE, institutions are buying 17%. You got Metromil, same story, institutions buying. I think when institutions are buying like this, coupled with the low RSI, for example here 36, 27, that's a good one. You can also buy along with the institutions and go from there. Even GOCO, for that matter, stock has been sold off right now, and RSI 36, it's okay to buy a little bit and take it from there. And look for the stocks where there is a high short ratio, for example 14%, and institutions are buying. Those are the good candidates for the short squeeze here. It's REE here. We got Metromil, same story, APPH, KP, LT, and also Romeo here. So we'll also look at these in a little more detail, because in addition to institution buying and short ratio, we should also look at on the balance volume. If on the balance volume is staying steady or racing as the stock is falling, that's a good sign for us to get in and buy some. So with that, let's jump in and get started here. From a news perspective, here we got here electrification is both blessing and curse for Workhorse. Workhorse has been struggling of late to gain credibility here. I think they lost a US Postal Service contract a while ago. So I think Workhorse will watch very closely. At this time, they also have a short seller report. SEC is investigating this company for any fraud behavior. So with that, I would be slowly buying Workhorse at these levels. Stock is completely sold off. And then we got here a lot of these electric vehicles are really not doing great of late with the chip shortage here. We got Tesla, many delays, and same chip crunch in Neo. Apple has got some car rumors, and then you got Workhorse and Volkswagen. So I would look at some of this, some of the stocks which are oversold here, stocks like Neo, and even some of the Chinese plays like XPEV and Lee. And then we got your Match Group and Ceridian and Brown and Brown all set to join S&P 500. And we got a lot of stocks, joining some of the indices like mid cap 400 and so on and so forth. I think at this point we would not chase, because typically when stock joins a index like S&P 500, it will shoot up like what happened to Match.com. And then you got here Smith & Wesson here, SWBI. Stock tumbles after the sales miss. I think it's good to buy SWBI at these levels and accumulate. And then we got your uranium stocks like UUU, UEC, and so on and so forth. All of them have got popped up at this time. I would not buy at these levels. Instead, these stocks always come down to earth. I would wait for a pullback here and then buy uranium stocks. And then you got ATOS here. Looks like this company is they received some approval here, and we should look at this company and see if it is good to buy ATOS on this good news here. And Landsand beats Q2 earnings estimates and stock slides here. I have watched Landsand for a long time. It's always good to buy Landsand when it drops like this. It always comes back. And then we got your Agri5. CEO sense the cannabis stocks crashing, and off late from a trend perspective, cannabis stocks are not doing great. And also we have some of the solar stocks are also suffering here. So, and EV stocks are also suffering. So with the Agri5 stock coming down here, because CEO is selling his own company shares, it may be okay to slowly accumulate AGFY and go from there. And company also has some allegations about insider selling. I think we should be a little careful, but it's okay to buy some slowly. And then you got your Vera Bradley VRA stock slumped 16%, and this stock also jumps up and down during the quarterly earnings. It may be okay to buy Vera Bradley slowly at these levels and accumulate. And then you got Ouster here, a leading provider of high resolution digital sensors, LiDAR sensors. Stock has been sold off of late. It's okay to buy some Ouster at these levels and accumulate. So with that, let's jump in here and go into a little more details on these and many other stocks. From a most active stock perspective, we got here the stock and market cap and insider buying and selling. Pay very close attention to insider buying and selling, insider buying and institutions buying and selling. Anytime you see green in institutions buying or insider buying, that's a good sign. So for example here GOCO looks like GoHealth. Insiders are buying big time, institutions are buying a little bit. That's a good sign here. There is some conviction here. And you can also look at other companies here where we got green in insider transactions. Those are the good ones to look at when the RSI levels are below 55. And look through here sales and sales growth. Sales growth is very important. As we look through here, we got BTCM, nice sales growth, and HUT same story, and BT all crypto plays here. And we got more crypto plays as you can see here with the BITF and HVBT. All the cryptos are doing great here. I would not chase these cryptos here. Instead, there are some cryptos which are not doing great of late, which is Marathon Digital and also the blockchain company. I think those two we should look at these levels, but these stocks have gone up too much. I will not chase those. And then you got here the gross margin, very important. A company with a great gross margin is always good to buy because it's a fundamentally strong company. Typically, I look for rule of 40 where quarter over quarter sales growth plus gross margin greater than 40. Many of the companies here handily beat that rule. Then you got net margin, tells you if the company is very stable and has some steady positive net margin. For example, here we got few companies in the crypto area doing great from a growth net margin perspective. And then you got here debt to equity ratio. A high debt to equity ratio is not good. It tells you companies leveraging too much from a financial perspective. For example, KPLT here, and even GSM. And as you scan through those two, I think you should watch out a little bit carefully. And then you got IV percentile and RSI. These two are very important, especially if you want to understand when to buy stock. Look for RSI level below 55. That's a good indicator for you. It's good to enter and buy. Stock is typically at a oversold type territory. I know that's why RSI is very important for you to understand when to buy and also when to sell. When the RSI is above, say, 65, 70, that's a good time for you to take some profit and move on to other candidates. Especially if you're a trader. If you're an investor, don't worry, hang on to it. I think that will do well in the long run. IV percentile together with the RSI is a holy grail for option traders. If you're an option buyer, look for low RSI and low IV percentile. As you scan through here, for example, here we got F-cell here, low RSI, below 50 and low IV percentile. That's a good one for you to buy some option, buy some call options long term as an example. And if you're a hedger, if you want to hedge, you could also buy put options. You're not paying too much. And as you scan through here, we got a couple more. For example, trying to look through here. Even GoTo here, a little high for me, but I would stick with the one we talked about. F-cell is a good one here. I would stick with it if you're an option buyer. And if you're an option seller, look for the candidates where there is a high RSI, tells you stock is already oversold, and there is a high IV percentile. So in these candidates, you could sell some premium. You could even sell some call option at a higher price, higher strike price, or sell some put option at a lower price, or even sell some strangles. You'll get some make some good money or premium. Be careful. And if you're not sure about either call side or put side when you sell, buy some caller or buy some call option at a to protect yourself. And then we got here institution ownership. Very important to have institutional ownership. A higher institutional ownership is better. And then you got short ratio. Short ratio is very important to watch. As you look through high short ratio candidates here, look for RSI levels below 55. And you can buy some of those companies if they're sold off and showing some promise. Then we got price to sales here, tells you from a valuation perspective if the stock is very expensive. For example, here SCNS, very expensive from a valuation perspective. So are Workhorse and UUUU. And then you got performance all the way from 1 day to 5 years. I pay very close attention to these performance levels. That tells you how the stock has been doing. So it tells you don't chase the stock that it's doing great. As you scan through here, I would rather look for a little more lower RSI. Then I look for 52-week, how much stock is off from 52-week high. A stock which is flirting around its 52-week high may not be a great idea unless the stock is really secular growing company. I would look for a little bit pullback from 52-week high. In this list, you got all of the stocks which are pulled nicely from 52-week high. So if you have to pick few stocks here, I've highlighted few stocks as you can see here in a gray background here. For example, Metromil, RSI is 44. I would typically buy Metromil at these levels. Given stock is doing okay at this time, institutions are buying Metromil. I would buy some Metromil at these levels. It already went up a little bit as you can see here, but still RSI is 44. It's good to buy. Stock is sold off 76% off from 52-week high. I would also buy F-cell here. As you can see here, low RSI 44. and stock is suffering a little bit in the nearer term. As you can see here, a high short ratio. I think that tells you we still have some shorts here. We can squeeze them out and stock can go up as we squeeze out these shorts. And then we got here Workhorse. I think this is also a good one. RSI perspective 38 years. Stock has been selling off in 1 day, 1 week, showing some improvement in 2 weeks. I would buy some Workhorse and GoTo. If you're a contrarian, you could slowly buy GoTo. Stock is sold off. I think Chinese online education plays are really down big time because of Chinese law of making these K through 12 education not for profit. So with that, I would buy some GoTo at these levels. As you can see here, stock has been going up off late slowly, and RSI is still 40, tells you stock has still more room to run. And then we got here SQLT SelectQu. Stock has been sold off pretty hard here, trying to make some comeback in 1 day and 1 week. As you can see here, still RSI is 43, still good to buy slowly on down days. And then we got here GOCO, UXIN, and RIDE. All have got low RSI levels. Probably RIDE is a little higher, but institutions are buying here. UXIN, institutions are buying big time, and RSI is low. I would buy some UXIN and also GOCO with the insiders buying GOCO and also institutions buying GOCO. Stock is sold off here. So I would look at these candidates here, look for, these are the good candidates to buy slowly. Next, we'll look at monthly winners here. Typically, I don't like to chase monthly winners. As you scan through this here, look for RSI levels. These RSI levels are much above 55. But if I were to pick one, I would probably look at ATOS Atossa here. As you look through here, RSI is 51. Institutions are buying the stock big time, 198%. And as you can see, a stock has been doing nicely off late. I would buy some Atossa here and scan through. As you scan through this quickly, eyeball this. See here, be big. Institutions are buying. And as you can see here, shorts have exited be big. As you look through here, short ratio is 0. That means the short squeeze play is done in be big. If you want to slowly buy and accumulate, you could do that. Wait for stock to fall off a little bit, then you can buy. And then you got your BTCM, MMAT. I think this has been doing great off late. This was down to earth like 2 weeks ago. And then you got ZAV, and you could look at some of these stocks and buy them when RSI levels are a little bit slow here or low. Right now RSI is a little high here. I would wait for a little pullback in these names. They always give some pullback all along. Then we look at small cap weekly losers. I pay very close attention to small cap weekly losers because the small cap stocks can go up and down a lot. That gives us very good swing trading opportunities. So with that, from a weekly loser perspective, look at REE REE Auto, $5 stock. As you scan through here, very low RSI 27. Institutions are buying REE Auto here, and as you scan through here, there is a high short flow. Tells you shorts can get squeezed on any good news, and stock has been dropping off of late. I would buy some REE Auto at these levels slowly and accumulate. And then you got your XXII and DBI. DBI has got insiders buying big time, and XXII has got institutions buying. Both have got low RSI, as you can see here. And as you scan through here, stock is sold off nicely in 1 week. These two could be good candidates to buy. And also, if you're an option trader, pay attention to RSI levels and IV percentile. These are low right now, and you could buy some options also if you want, but stocks are a little low dollar anyways. Instead, I would buy stock because you don't want to have any option price eroding as time progresses. That's why low dollar stock, you could rather buy some stock itself on the down day like this. And then you got real stock has been dropping off of late. Institutions are slowly warming up to it and buying a little bit. RSI is 31, tells you completely oversold. I would buy some real at these levels. You can also look at other second-hand plays like Farfetch, Poshmark, and some of those names and buy them slowly, including Stitch Fix. And then you got your VTNR and Ouster. Same story here. Stock have been selling off very hard. Institutions are buying them, as you see here. I would buy along with the institutions and go from there. And Ouster has got a little higher short ratio here, and even VTNR 8%. They can also go up in good news. And then you got SWBI Gunmaker. Stock is sold off, as you can see here. And we got UXIN, China-based used car trading company here. It's a platform for used car trading. I think both have got low RSI here. You could buy some of these two companies here. And Smith & Wesson, as you see here, it's got positive sales growth, and even UXIN has got positive sales growth. Institutions are warming up to UXIN, buying some stock at these levels. And then you got Workhor here. Workhor, as you can see here, nice sales growth, but it's off of a low number, as you can see here. RSI is 38, stock is sold off. Right now it's a controversial stock with the SEC probing, but I would slowly buy a little bit, being a contrarian. And then you got VXRT and MDRX here. As you can see here, institutions are buying VXRT, and both have got low RSI levels here. VXRT a little higher and MDRX lower. I would buy these two names here and slowly accumulate. Next, we look at the monthly losers here. So from a monthly loser perspective, as you can see here, we got GOCO, REE, SelectQu, Metromil, APPH, and WW. All of GOCO has got high insider buying here. REE has got institutions buying. Metromil, same story, institutions buying, and APPH institutions are warming up to it. Low RSI. I would buy some of these names at these levels and take it from there. And then we got here REE and Romeo. As you can see here, institutions are warming up to both REE and Romeo, and low RSI 31 and 39. I would buy some of these stocks at these levels. And then you got WTI. As you scan through here, insiders are buying, institutions are buying, and it's got a sales growth in a quarter-over-quarter perspective, nice gross margin, and RSI is 49. I would buy some WTI here. And then you got Sand, VTNR, Workhor, ALTO Alto. All, I think many of these, for example, VTNR has got institutions buying here, and all of them got low RSI. I would slowly look at these stocks and buy them slowly. And even I like MDRX here, Allscrip at these levels. RSI is 30, stock is sold off. I would buy some MDRX also. And then you got a couple more names here, CPE, Telluria, SWBI. All of them are good to buy slowly. And we got UXIN and VLDR. Velodyne is very compelling at these levels here. Institutions are buying big time. I would buy some Velodyne at these levels and accumulate slowly. So with that, next we'll look at stock charts to really see when, how, and when to spot some of these good stocks, and it is a good time to buy. So with that, let's jump in and look at some stock charts. So we'll look at XXII here. It's a biotech company, develops plant-based solutions. It develops very low nicotine content-based tobacco and cigarette products under Moonlight and Moonlight Methanol. If you don't want to buy tobacco companies, you can pass it along. I'm purely looking from a technical perspective here. It's okay if you pass up this opportunity here, no big deal. So as you look through here, the stock is going bouncing around with the 200-day moving average here, and on the balance volume is pretty steady. That tells you the stock is a good candidate. Even though stock has come down a lot, on the balance volume is pretty steady. That tells you it's good to buy at these levels. As you scan through here, institutions are buying. It's got positive sales growth, as you can see here. and RSI is 45. So that's the reason I would, from a technical perspective, it's got a good setup here. I would buy some XXII, and as you scan through, the float itself, short float or a short ratio is 7%. I think it can give you some good opportunity on the short squeeze perspective. Then you got DBI. It designs, manufactures, and retails footwear and accessories. A retail play. As you see here, this stock also is bouncing around with the 200-day moving average here, the red line. And on the balance volume is coming down a little bit. So this could be a good time to buy a little bit as a contrarian. I think after the quarterly earnings report, stock is coming down. Typically, this stock trend to come down a little bit, then go up after the quarterly earnings. So I would buy slowly into this downturn here and take it from there. And DBI, as you scan through here, it's got insiders are buying their own stock. That's always a good sign. And as you scan through high short float here, this can cause a short squeeze as you go forward. Then we got REE REE here. It operates an online marketplace for consigned luxury goods, provides various product categories including women's, men's, and so on and so forth. Stock has been sold off so hard, as you can see here, completely in a bearish territory with 200-day moving average on the top and 25-day moving average on the bottom. In a bullish stock, we would see this completely opposite. Here we see a little bit bearish sentiment here. On the balance volume is pretty going down, as you can see here. REE, I think institutions are warming up to it slowly. There is a positive sales growth, as you can see here. Fundamentally good company, handily beats rule of 40. At this time, RSI being 31, stock is completely oversold. I would be accumulating REE at these levels and take it from there. Then we got VTNR. It's a environmental services company. Think about aggregates and recycling, waste systems. It's a waste management company, and stock has been struggling with the 100-day moving average, as you can see here. And I would buy some stock at these levels. As you can see here, on the balance volume is pretty steady, even though stock is dropping off a little bit and trying to hug 100-day moving average. VTNR, as you scan through here, institutions are buying it. That's a good institution buying here, 49%. Nice sales growth, and RSI is 40. Tells you stock is oversold. Has done great for 1 year, 1211. So I would slowly buy into VTNR at these levels and accumulate. Next, we got here a couple more Ouster. It designs, manufactures digital LiDAR sensors for industrial automation. It's a EV play here, and also automotive. As you look through here, stock has been sold off pretty hard here. And as you see here, it also has got short ratio a little high, 11%, and institutions are buying Ouster stock here. So that's a good indication here. There's institutions see compelling value at these levels. And as you scan through here, RSI is 41. Stock is oversold completely. So I would buy some Ouster at these levels. I think quarterly earnings, because of that, stock came down drastically. Now trying to see some gain some footing here. And then you got SWBI. It offers handguns and revolvers and whatnot. And as you see here, stock has been sold off pretty hard, and after the earnings it came down a little more. It's trying to bounce off of its 200-day moving average here. Look here, as you look through on the balance volume, that's pretty steady. Even though stock dropped, on the balance volume is steady. A lot of these big institutions, they know the pattern here. They come in and scoop up the stock like SWBI when it's down like this. I would buy this along with these big players here. Right now on the balance, right now RSI is 38. Tells the stock is completely oversold. Nice sales growth, as you can see here. Sales growth is good. Gross margin is nice. It also makes money. Net margin is positive. I would buy some SWBI at these levels and hang on to it. And then you got UXIN here. It's a investment holding company. operates as a used car, e-commerce platform. Something like our Carvana and some of these US companies. Stock has been selling off late, as you can see here. Um, Institutions are buying the stock here. That's a good sign here. RSI is 48, tells the stock is oversold. Look here, the volume on the balance volume is pretty steady, even though stock is selling off out by some UXIN at these levels. Um, Stock being very less expensive, $3.32. I would buy some UXIN and look at the short ratio here, 3%. Not a big short candidate here, but still I would accumulate this stock here. And then you got Workhor here. They're into tech. It's a technology company, designs, manufactures, builds, and sells battery electric vehicles here, and aircraft. Stock has been sold off big time, as you can see here. And on the balance, volume is pretty steady here. That tells you when the stock is selling off, the big players are accumulating the stock slowly. That's why we see here on the balance volume pretty steady. That tells you folks are buying the stock at these levels. As you scan through here, RSI is 38, stock is completely oversold. It's also a little expensive from a valuation perspective, but I would buy and hold this stock slowly and take it from there. Next, we got VXRT. It's a clinical stage biotech company, engages in development oral recombinant protein vaccines here. As you scan through, stock has done nothing much. Earnings, stocks relatively flat, maybe a little higher, but has done nothing much. Look at on the balance volume, pretty went up, pretty steady. So that tells you people are buying the stock here. As you scan through here, institutions are buying VXRT and very low sales, not too much. Look at the short ratio. There is nothing much here. It's not a short candidate yet, but that can change any moment here. Valuation perspective is a little expensive, so with that you could buy some VXRT when nobody is watching. On the balance volume going pretty steadily, and stock is not doing great. You could buy some and shove it away. And then you got MDRX here. It's Allscrip's stock has done nice historically. Right now it's dropped to 200-day moving average. It's a company that provides information technology and solutions to healthcare organizations. Think about your medical records. It kind of provides a solution for those things. It's a great company, and after the quarterly earnings, stock dropped here. So as you scan through here, on the balance volume is also dropping. That tells you, folks are selling the stock, taking some profit, given stock went up high. So as you scan through here, RSI is 30, stock is completely oversold. This is when I like to buy stock like MDRX and slowly accumulate. I think that's a good play here. And then you got GOCO here, health insurance marketplace and Medicare focused digital health company here. And at GOCO, as you can see here, insiders are buying, institutions are buying. That's a secret combination here. On the balance volume is trying to go up steadily. That's a good sign here. And as you scan through, RSI 36 stock is completely sold off. So I would buy some GOCO at these levels and take it from there. Then you got here Romeo. It's a energy storage technology company, focuses on lithium ion battery modules. I think that's a great play. As you see here, stock has been falling off, as you see, even after the quarterly earnings, but on the balance volume is pretty steady. That's a bullish divergence here. I would buy some Romeo at these levels here. Given institutions are buying Romeo, and it's as you see here, RSI 39 stock is sold off. I would buy some Romeo at these levels. And then you got here Velodyne LiDAR, VLDR, the real-time three-dimension vision for autonomous systems worldwide. I think it's a good play here. Stock is dropping off of late. I've been watching this stock here. This comes up, bounces back nicely. Might take some time, but it is a good one to buy. VLDR, as you can see here, institutions are warming up and buying. That's a good sign. RSI is 41, stock is sold off. I think it's good to accumulate slowly and take it from there. And then we got Alto here. Alto produces, markets specialty alcohol and essential ingredients. That's a good stock here. Stock has been dropping off, as you can see here. RSI, I mean, on the balance volume is also pretty steady here after dropping off. Looks like insiders and institutions are buying slowly. That's a good sign. RSI is 48. Stock is completely sold off. I would buy a little bit Alto at these levels and take it from there. Last one, we got Sand here. Sand operates as a gold royalty company focused on acquiring gold and other metal purchase agreements and royalties. So I think it's a good gold play here. Gold, as you can see here, this stock is down here, trying to make some way up here, and RSI is 43. It tells you stock is oversold. Even on the balance volume is steady, trying to raise at these levels. I think this is a good play at these levels and take it from there. Look at the fundamentals. The sales growth is there. There is a nice gross margin. Company is also making money with a positive net margin. So that's why I think it's a good one to buy and hold. So with that, people always ask me, when do I buy and sell stocks? There are so many stocks. From an entry point perspective, always look for RSI less than 55 and on the balance volume racing. If the on the balance volume is racing, that tells you there is a lot of conviction. The big players are buying. If you're a contrarian, you could also look for on the balance volume low and RSI low. That's a contrarian play. But when RSI is less than 55, on the balance volume is racing. That's a indication or a confirmation. Stock may go up. And from an exit point perspective, you already have the stock and you want to know when to sell. Look for RSI levels greater than 60 and on the balance volume is falling slowly. That tells you, hey, it's good to sell the stock at these levels if you already have. And if you're a options premium seller, you could look for selling some call option higher when this happens, so that way you can make some money that way. And always buy and sell in stages. That way you don't want to buy too many at one time and get burned with a single stock risk. And look for stocks consolidating for a while and showing some signs of bullishness. That tells you, hey, you know what, it may be good to buy at that level. For the stocks nearing 52-week high, look for a pullback before buying. So that way you have some margin of safety here and you're not buying at the top. Stocks nearing 52-week low, look for a sign of price increase before buying. That tells you you're not buying a falling knife. And stocks with a huge drop, look for some signs of bullishness before you jump in. And high short ratio or a high short float ratio can be a good catalyst when the stock is sold off, especially when insiders and institutions are buying the stock. That shows the conviction from insiders and institutions. And look for fundamentally good companies with a positive sales growth and gross margin. Rule of 40 tells you if the quarter-over-quarter sales growth plus gross margin greater than 40, that's a good candidate from a fundamental perspective. And when there is a secular biotech stock down on a bad news, for example, it could be FDA approvals or clinical trial, in those scenarios, it may be okay to be a contrarian and buy some stock when it's completely sold off. And if you're option buyers, in the chart have included both RSI levels and the IV rank. So look for, if you're an option buyer, look for RSI less than 50 and implied volatility, low implied volatility percentile, IV percentile less than 40. That's a good sign for you option buyers. You could buy some call option. And if you already have the stock, if you're a little bit worried, you can buy some put option also. And if you're an option seller, look for a high RSI because you want stock to come down a little bit, especially if you're a call option seller. And the IV percentile is higher. So if IV percentile is greater than 50, you can make some premium. So this is where, depending on your call option seller or a put option seller, if you're a call option sellers, you could look for a high RSI. But if you're a put option seller, on the contrary, you could look for a low RSI, tells you stock is oversold, and also look for a high IV percentile. So for the put option seller, I would look for a low RSI, less than 50 or so, and high IV percentile. So that will, you want the stock to go up as a put option seller. So with that, thank you very much. Uh, Wish you a happy investing. Please subscribe.